between Najee putting up 110 and him putting up 75 against Baltimore, how do you only score 16 points in that game? Just from a general overall philosophy, nearly 200 rushing yards, but you only score 16 points is a true test of how bad this team is drawn up to be in the red zone. It's just a fact. And I know that we were getting some people pushing back about saying, Canada is not the best person ever. You shouldn't be disrespecting Canada. And that's what this episode is going to be. As I just said, against Baltimore, we need the win. It's at the end of the year, week 16. Cumulatively, tons of rushing yards. Warren gives you 12 carries for 76. Najee, 22 carries, 111. That is enough yardage to win any other football game with any other real scheme to easily put up 28. And the reason is you just need simple balance. But the number one thing that was the problem with the Matt Canada offense is that it does not invite separation. The reason for this is there are far too many option routes in this offense. Is that fine when you have a bunch of veterans who know exactly what they're doing? Yes, that makes sense. Matt Stafford, Calvin Johnson, they knew exactly where it's going to be. They had the same eyes as each other, and he could put the ball right there. Calvin Johnson, Hall of Famer as a result. Quite frankly, Stafford's pretty much a Hall of Famer because of that. It does not work with rookies, period. And you go into last year being told, we're playing Kenny at some point. Now, obviously, Tomlin never explicitly came out and said it, but based upon the way that he did that training camp battle, never giving Rudolph a chance, it was obvious they wanted Trubisky to win the job, which they did, and they wanted Kennedy to eventually take over, which Kenny eventually did. But knowing that that's the end plan, you need to draw a scheme that is conducive so he can read and react quicker. As a rookie, it's very hard to do that. Also, he doesn't have the same chemistry opportunity that a veteran does. Because it's not his team yet. Trubisky won the camp battle. So therefore, you can't really take over and have all this one-on-one time with the receivers because they're going to be doing it with the starter. That's a fact. So from a pure starting point standpoint, it came from the wrong initiative in what Canada was trying to achieve last year because he was unwilling to change his system. The other major problem of Canada is it takes way too long for the Pittsburgh Steelers to break the huddle. And the only logical reason for that is the play call takes too long to be coming in. Lots of ways it can be changed, but first and foremost is you have an in-game game plan and you just know what you're going to call next. And you're setting people up rather than going, oh, now what do I do? Take a guess. I'm going to play circle. Because that's what it feels like half the time when you're watching the Steelers on tape. And that's why you don't get to the line of scrimmage very quickly. And the other major component that is holding back this offense is that their suite and the ability of doing audibles is severely limited. Part of that is rookie quarterback, we're not going to put a lot on him. Fine. There's no reason Trubisky shouldn't have had that option. Because there are so many plays, especially in third quarters last year. And remember, nearly historic worst third quarter of all time across the entire season is what Canada gave the offense last year. To not have Trubisky have the ability to do the full suite of audibles and to be able to make it better is dumbfounding. And a lot of it is you come out the line of scrimmage so late, you're stuck with it is that the offense is predictable. And that is the underlying fact of all of this. Defenses were able to tell by the personnel and position group where the ball was going. And then you combine it with the fact that nearly 80% of the routes are option routes. And that's what Johnson turns routes into. Johnson's actually very good at sitting in a hole, finding a hole, and sitting in a hole and catching it. The problem is defenses are the ones who make the holes. See, in a properly drawn offense, you force the defense to react to you. But when you're only looking for holes and not pushing action aggressively against the opposing defense, the defense is now the one creating the holes. And that's what we saw consistently with the Steelers last year, is we're just going to let Johnson sit here 5 yards downfield on a 3rd and 7, and we know he's not going to get any yak, but we're going to make it so inviting that you have to throw the ball there. And that's what happened. So how is this fixable? Well, you take options out. You say, these are the route combinations you're going to do. So Kenny can visualize the play in his head saying, I know where my people are going to be. It's a very simpler way. Does that mean sometimes you're going to call plays and the perfect defense is going to be matched up against it? Yes. That is the risk of this, of having a more static offense, if you will, because you're telling you, George, you're running a post, you're running it out, and you know it before the thing, but you know the key player you're trying to set up. So on this post-out combination, we're trying to exploit the cover 3 outside coverage. He's either going to come down and cheat down to the out, or he's going to cheat up to the post. One of the two of them will be in single coverage as a result. And this league, you just have to be able to throw through single coverage. I think Kenny's going to be a lot better at that, knowing where it is. Because a lot of the hesitation that slowed down this team last year was, where are my guys going to be? And that can never be as successful in any league, in any level. And to have knowing where our people are and being there, it's a very simple transition. Yes, sometimes it means you're going to do a curl route right in front of someone, and you're effectively taking yourself out of the play. But it also means we're anchoring this as a spot where now Johnson's over here, he's doing a curl, we got to pay extra attention because we always throw the ball to Johnson. It's the reason he gets 10 targets a game. And that's part of it. So when you have the ability of doing that, now the defense has to react to you because they're not sitting in the hole we're giving them. They're pushing it into another spot. I have to react to go deeper. He's hitting George over the top. He's hitting Calvin Austin over the top. So now our safeties are backing up. Now when Johnson does catch a ball underneath and gets tackled immediately, it's 3 yards further downfield because the hole was bigger. Also, now we can do better running games, and because the safeties are starting an extra 3 yards back, Najee is getting an extra half a yard per carry. Well, Najee getting 4.3 yards per carry is massive compared to a 3.9. And again, on paper, it looks huge because you're going from a 3 to a 4, but it's huge because now you're having 2nd and 8 now you're having 2nd and 8 on a shutdown play opposed to a 2nd and 6. That's massively different. Again, when you're having not pushing people downfield, that is the problem with this offense. Also, their offense, because it was only able to run to the one side, was getting cheated a lot on runs to that, especially when he would bring motion across trying to pull someone with him, which happened a lot on running plays. You know, we'd have either a slot chip back guy or a tight end on the right side of the line of scrimmage. He would go in motion to the left. Well, the defense was able to tell that it was a run. And there's lots of ways the defense can detect these tells. Sometimes the offensive linemen give it away with the way that their stance is. Are they down? Are they up? Are they leaning one way? You can tell this. And if there's already tell, he's leaning like he's going to run block in this side, I'm not coming across. You know, you guys, he's going to throw it 2 yards to Johnson anyway. Who the hell gives a shit? Just stop the run. That's what happened to the Canada running game last year. And this all goes back to the tolls are better, that doesn't need to be a thing. We can run to the left side now without doing guards, without pulling guards. We can have balanced sets across the line. 2 tight ends up, and Johnson, and hopefully Calvin Austin, make some appearances this year. But between Johnston, Pickett, and Austin's, that's a pretty dynamic group in terms of how you could attack people. You have massive size that when you get into the red zone, so that you can run legitimate pick plays where you have the wide receiver on the right doing a slant in and the tight end right there doing a slant the other way. And you can do the pick in either direction. Most teams do it to the outside because there's less congestion there. But if you do it with a play action motive, You're having everyone sucked in, and then George Pickens is standing underneath the upright with his 12-foot vertical. Throw him a touchdown. I mean, it's just that straightforward. And these possibilities are all here because Khan has made an absolute great draft. This offseason has been phenomenal in every way. Yes, the risk of the offseason is some of these guys we brought in on health risks don't pan out. And there's no way all of them will. But if even 3/4 of them do, this Steelers team is going to be on a run to make something amazing happen. Yesterday I did that episode about why we're getting shaded. This is the glass ceiling the Steelers have to get through, Matt Canada. And I believe that they will. I believe that they will, even if behind the scenes he's neutered. But the guy has to know at this point, I either change or I never have a job again. Because it's been 13 years of the same old, regardless of his pit stop. And the bottom line is, Tomlin is a great coach. He sees this too, and they are going all in. They are. They're done with the rebuilding crap. They're winning this. And will Porter be able to cover Higgins? I think he will. And I think TJ is going to sack himself some Burrow. I think this team has a legitimate chance because I do believe the winner of the AFC North will get the bye. I think this team has a legitimate chance of being the 1 seed going into the playoffs.